They said Christmas was canceled, too broke this year. I spent it alone, then saw my family's party online. When Dad asked for help with the mortgage, I said, "Ask the family you chose." I used to believe family was everything, especially Christmas. It was sacred. But then, this past Christmas, I saw a video that didn't just break my heart, it absolutely shattered my world into a million pieces. Can you imagine your own parents, your siblings, your entire extended family, lying to your face, celebrating without you, all while actively taking your money? The betrayal cuts so deep, I still feel the phantom ache. The foundation of my life, my name is Brittany, and I'm 28 years old. I grew up in Willowbrook, a small town in Arizona where everybody knew everybody. As the oldest of three, I always felt this deep sense of responsibility for my family. My parents, Michael and Laura, taught us the importance of family bonds and traditions above all else. My brother Josh is 25, and my sister Katie is 22. We weren't rich, but we were happy, especially around the holidays. Christmas, it was pure magic in our house. Mom would spend weeks transforming our modest 3-bedroom home into a winter wonderland. Dad would drive us around, hot chocolate in hand, just to see the lights. We had silly traditions, like wearing matching pajamas on Christmas Eve and opening one gift before bed. Those memories, they were the bedrock of my childhood. I was always the academic one, determined to make something of myself. I got a scholarship to Arizona State for computer science. College was tough, but I worked part-time, covering expenses my scholarship didn't, always putting family first. Even when I landed my dream job at Tech Fusion in Seattle after graduating with honors, moving 1,000 miles away, I never stopped coming home for the holidays. Family was my priority. The weight of responsibility then, 3 years ago, everything changed. My dad lost his job at the manufacturing plant he'd worked at for 20 years. He was 54, and suddenly, he couldn't find comparable work. Mom's part-time job wasn't enough, and they were staring down the barrel of losing the house they'd poured 18 years into. When Dad called me, tears streaming, terrified they'd lose our family home, I didn't hesitate for a second. "I'll help," I told him. "Just tell me what you need." That was the beginning. First, it was the mortgage for a few months. Then, utility bills when winter hit. Soon, I was sending $2,000 every single month to keep them afloat. "It's just temporary, princess," Dad would promise, using my childhood nickname. "Just until I get back on my feet." I never minded. My job was thriving, 2 promotions in 3 years. I could afford my comfortable Seattle apartment and still support them. Every Sunday, without fail, I called. The anticipation of Christmas this year, as Christmas approached, those calls became more frequent. I hadn't been home in 6 months, buried under a massive work project, pulling overtime and weekend hours. But the thought of Christmas with my family, that kept me going. "I can't wait to see everyone," I told Mom in early December. "I've been saving all year for gifts." She sounded so warm. "We've missed you, sweetie. Katie keeps asking when you're coming home." I spent hours online, searching for perfection. For Dad, a premium fishing gear set he'd always wanted but would never buy. For Mom, a silver locket with all our pictures. For Josh, the latest gaming console. For Katie, a new laptop. I even bought special gifts for aunts, uncles, cousins. The cost was significant, but I budgeted carefully. After a year of sacrificing my own time and money, working nonstop, I felt I deserved this. I booked my flight for December 23rd, planning 10 full days. My reward: my Seattle apartment is modern, but it lacks the warmth of home. I put up a small artificial tree, but it wasn't the same as Mom's elaborate decorations. My boss, Samantha, noticed my dedication. "You're really pushing yourself, Brittany," she'd said. "Make sure you enjoy your time off." "I will," I promised. Christmas with family is worth every late night. I daydreamed about sledding with my siblings, helping Mom bake gingerbread, Dad sneaking dough. The weight of financial support was heavy sometimes, but their faces opening gifts, the hugs, the laughter, that made everything worthwhile. 2 weeks before my flight, I shipped the carefully wrapped gifts. "These are special," I texted Mom, asking her to hide them. "Can't wait to see everyone's reaction." That was the last normal conversation. The call that changed everything. The call came on a Wednesday evening, 11 days before Christmas. I'd just gotten home exhausted. Mom's ringtone, a smile on my face. Brittany, honey. Her voice was strange, hesitant. I need to talk to you about Christmas. Something in her tone made me sink onto the couch. What about it? Is everything okay? Well, your father and I have been talking. We think it might be better to skip the big celebration this year. Money's just too tight, and we're feeling overwhelmed. I frowned, confused. Mom, I've been helping with bills all year. I'm happy to bring extra for the holidays. It's not just that, she continued, her voice oddly distant. We're just going to stay in this year. Nothing special. Maybe it's better if you save your vacation days. This made no sense. Christmas was our most important tradition. We'd celebrated through tougher times. Mom, I already bought all the gifts. My flight's booked. She sighed. The gifts are too much, Brittany. We can't match that kind of spending, and it makes everyone uncomfortable. My stomach dropped. I don't expect anything in return. I just want to see everyone. We can do a simple celebration. I'll cook dinner myself. Then, after some muffled conversation, Dad got on the line. Princess, listen. We're just staying in this year. Nothing special. Just a quiet day for your mother and me. But what about Josh and Katie and the cousins? We always spend Christmas together. Everyone understands, he said firmly. It's just 1 year. We'll do something next summer. I tried everything. Offered to book a restaurant, shorten my stay, even just immediate family. Each suggestion was met with the same gentle, but firm, we're just staying in. Nothing special this year. By the end, I felt deflated but tried to be understanding. Times had been tough. Maybe the pressure of hosting was too much. But canceling everything. I can still send the gifts, right? I asked before hanging up. If you want to, Mom replied, sounding oddly disinterested. The growing silence, I sat on my couch, staring at my tiny tree. The excitement had evaporated, replaced by confusion and disappointment. I tried to be mature. They were stressed. The next day, I canceled my flight. No refund, just a credit. Another disappointment. I texted my siblings. Josh replied, Yeah, tough year. Katie didn't respond at all. That was weird. Over the next few days, I tried to connect. A group video call on Christmas morning. Mom said their internet was spotty. A care package with breakfast ingredients. Dad texted back that they were watching their sugar intake. Each rejection felt stranger than the last. Something was off. A week before Christmas, my shipped gifts were delivered. Got them, was Mom's only reply to my text. No excitement, no gratitude, no questions. Just a mundane confirmation. I tried calling. No answer. I left a cheerful voicemail, hiding my hurt. Neither parent called back. 3 days before Christmas, Dad texted. Nothing special happening here Christmas Eve or day. Just staying in. Don't worry about calling. We might turn phones off to relax. That message hit me like a punch to the gut. Don't worry about calling on Christmas. In 28 years, I had never spent a Christmas without at least speaking to my family. Now, they were actively discouraging contact. My siblings went radio silent. Katie sent one message. Super busy with friends. My parents' communications became less frequent, more brief. Despite it all, I kept sending cheerful messages. I still held out hope. Christmas Day, a lone Christmas Eve, heavy snow in Seattle. My calls went straight to voicemail. I fell asleep with my phone clutched in my hand, hoping. Christmas morning. Silence. No excited calls, no cheerful group texts. Just the hum of my apartment. My first Christmas alone in 28 years. The reality hit me with unexpected force. I checked my phone, nothing. Just a stark emptiness. Merry Christmas to me, I whispered to the empty room. I'd made half-hearted attempts to decorate. The little tree, a few gifts from coworkers, and my best friend Amy. I declined invitations from Seattle friends, foolishly believing my family might change their minds. Now, hours of solitude stretched ahead. I called my parents' home phone, then their cells. Voicemail. I left a bright, cheerful message, pretending everything was fine. Hi, Mom and Dad. Just wanted to wish you both a very Merry Christmas. Hope you're having a peaceful day like you wanted. I love you both and miss you. The gifts are from me, of course. Hope you like them. My voice sounded artificial even to me. Josh and Katie, No answer. More upbeat messages, hiding my growing isolation. I tried to occupy myself. Christmas music, a small holiday meal just for me. Ham, mashed potatoes. Now we'll add a glaze to the ham. I narrated to my empty apartment, swallowing the lump in my throat. By 3 p.m., my meal was ready. I set my small table, lit a candle, even put on a nice sweater. I took a photo, almost posted it, but stopped. I didn't want their pity. The food was good, but tasted like nothing. I ate mechanically. Afterward, I opened my gifts. A scarf, a bottle of wine. Amy's gift was last, a beautiful frame with a picture of us from college graduation. Never forget who's always in your corner. Love you, friend. Tears sprang to my eyes. Amy, who'd invited me to Boston, but airfare was too much. I texted her, "Love it. Love you. Merry Christmas." Her reply came instantly, "Merry Christmas. How are you holding up alone?" I hesitated, then replied honestly, "It's harder than I expected. No word from family yet." "That's weird," she responded. "Have you checked social media to see if they posted anything?" I hadn't. I'd been actively avoiding it, not wanting to see everyone else's perfect family gatherings. But her suggestion planted a seed. If they were truly having a quiet day, there'd be nothing to see, right? "I'll check later," I promised. Watching Christmas movies now. I wasn't, but I needed time. Part of me feared what I might find. The revelation the afternoon crawled into evening. Outside, snow blanketed Seattle. In Arizona, it would be sunny, mild. I imagined my childhood home, quiet, decorations packed away. Nothing special. I tried calling again around 6 p.m. Still no answer from anyone. The silence was deafening. By 8 p.m., I was out of distractions. My mind restless, I finally opened Instagram. Just checking on friends, I told myself. But Amy's suggestion lingered. Then it flashed. Jackson Williams went live 30 minutes ago. Jackson, my cousin, we grew up together. My thumb hovered, hesitation mixed with an undeniable growing dread. If it was truly a quiet, scaled-back Christmas, there'd be nothing. I tapped the screen. My world collapsed. There was my childhood home, but it was nothing like the quiet, minimal Christmas my parents had described. The living room was transformed, elaborately decorated. A massive tree, piles of brightly wrapped presents beneath it. Garlands draped the staircase. Festive centerpieces on every surface. But it wasn't just the decorations. It was the people. The house was full, brimming with familiar faces. My brother Josh, lounging on the couch, laughing in a new sweater I didn't recognize. Katie, cross-legged by the tree, sorting through gift tags with our younger cousins. My aunts and uncles clustered in conversation, holding wine glasses and plates of appetizers. And there, in the center of it all, my parents. Mom wore a beautiful red dress I'd never seen, her hair freshly styled. Dad stood beside her in a new button-down, carving a massive turkey on the dining room table. Annual Williams' family Christmas feast. Jackson narrated, panning across the room. Everyone's here for the big day. Everyone. Except me. I felt physically ill, a wave of nausea rising. My hand shook so badly I almost dropped the phone. But I couldn't stop watching. The camera moved to the mantel, displaying elegant Christmas cards. I froze the frame, zoomed in. They weren't cards. They were invitations. Gold script on cream paper, Williams' family Christmas celebration. Family only. December 25th, 3 p.m. Family only. The words burned into my brain. I watched in a sense of detached horror as Jackson's tour continued. Relative after relative, all gathered in the home where I'd been told nothing special was happening. Where Christmas had supposedly been canceled due to tight finances. Where I had been explicitly told not to come. The video moved to the gift exchange. I watched my mother open a small jewelry box and gasp, holding up an expensive-looking diamond pendant. "Michael, it's beautiful!" she exclaimed, kissing my father. The same father who had been accepting $2,000 from me monthly. The same mother who had said they couldn't afford Christmas. I recognized some of the wrapped packages under the tree as the ones I had sent. They sat unopened, forgotten in the corner. Then came my father's speech. Holding a glass of champagne, another expense they supposedly couldn't afford, he addressed the room. "I want to thank everyone for making it here today," He smiled broadly. Looking around, I see everyone who matters to us. Everyone who makes this family special. Everyone who matters. Those words were a knife to my heart. This year hasn't been easy, he continued, but having all of you here makes everything worthwhile. To family. The room echoed. A family that apparently didn't include me. The video ended. My gifts untouched. I replayed it 3 times, taking screenshots. Each image more damning than the last. The elaborate meal, the new clothes, the professionally decorated house, the champagne, the diamond pendant. The physical symptoms of shock set in. Cold, numb hands, a constricted chest, the room spinning. I ran to the bathroom and threw up the Christmas dinner I'd cooked for myself. Kneeling on the cold tile, I finally allowed the tears to come. Not gentle sadness, but harsh, body-racking sobs of pure, agonizing betrayal. 3 years of financial support. 3 years of sacrificing my own savings. 3 years of believing I was essential to keeping my family afloat. And all of it, apparently a lie. They hadn't canceled Christmas because they couldn't afford it. They had simply canceled Christmas with me. The cold, hard truth after the initial shock. A cold, focused anger replaced the tears. I returned to Instagram. My brother's profile. Best Christmas ever with the fam. A photo of him, Mom, Dad, and Katie, all in matching sweaters, smiling. Katie's stories documented the entire day, from breakfast to gifts. Annual Williams Christmas Magic, her caption read. As if nothing was different. Aunt Susan's profile showed posts going back weeks, planning the gathering. Can't wait for our family Christmas, posted December 10th. Right around the time Mom called to tell me it was canceled. With shaking hands, I sent the screenshots to Amy. Her response was instant. What the actual hell? Call me now. I did, and the moment I heard her voice, I broke down again. They lied to me, Amy. They told me Christmas was canceled, that money was too tight. And they're all there without me. I've been sending them $2,000 every month. For 3 years. And now they're buying diamond necklaces and throwing huge parties. Oh my God, Brittany! Amy whispered. I don't even have words. What did I do wrong? I sobbed. Why wouldn't they want me there? You didn't do anything wrong, Amy said firmly. This is about them, not you. This is exploitation, Brittany. They've been taking advantage of you. The word hit me like a physical blow. Exploitation? By my own family? I need to look at something, I said suddenly. I hung up and opened my banking app. There it was. The recurring $2,000 transfer, first of every month, for 36 months. $72,000. I scrolled through Dad's texts. This helps so much, Princess. Don't know what we'd do without you. Just until things turn around. I found receipts for extra help. Car repairs, medical bills, property taxes. Thousands more. $80,000. Money I could have saved, invested, spent on myself. All gone, believing I was helping them survive. The betrayal cut deeper with each revelation. This wasn't a one-time exclusion. This was a pattern of deception, designed to keep me sending money while keeping me at a distance. Uncovering the conspiracy, I called Amy back. I need to see how long this has been happening, I said, my voice eerily calm, the tears replaced by cold, focused anger. What are you going to do? She asked. I'm going to find out the truth, I replied. All of it. For the next few hours, Amy stayed on the phone as I investigated. The more I uncovered, the more extensive the betrayal. Facebook, which my parents used more frequently. Dad's profile, numerous gatherings over the past year I'd known nothing about. Family barbecues, a lavish Thanksgiving, even a vacation to San Diego in October. They told me they couldn't afford a vacation. I told Amy, my voice rising with indignation. While you were working overtime to send them money, Amy added, disgust in her tone. Mom's profile yielded even more damning evidence. Shopping trips, expensive purchases, check-ins at upscale restaurants. A post about their new entertainment system from just 2 months ago, a massive flat-screen TV that must have cost at least $2,000. The exact amount I sent them monthly. Amy, I whispered, the realization hitting me like a physical blow. I think I've been funding their lifestyle, not their necessities. I suspected something was off with them, Amy admitted quietly. Remember when I visited you last year? Your mom was wearing a designer watch, but they were still accepting your money for emergencies. I remembered. I dismissed it. I hadn't wanted to believe my parents would spend frivolously while claiming hardship. Why didn't you say something? I asked, genuinely curious. You were so convinced they needed your help, Brittany, Amy replied gently. You spoke about it with such pride. I didn't have proof, just a feeling. I didn't want to hurt you without being certain. Other warning signs clicked into place. Dad's new car, Mom's minor updates to the kitchen, which were actually a high-end remodel. I scrolled back through Jackson's Instagram. 6 months ago, another fantastic Williams family reunion. A photo of my entire extended family at a lakeside cabin. Everyone was there. Everyone except me. They've been excluding me from family gatherings for at least 6 months. I told Amy, my voice breaking. Probably longer. But why, Amy? You've done nothing but support them. What possible reason could they have? I had no explanation. I'd always been the responsible one, the achiever. The child they bragged about. Or so I thought. I checked Katie's emails, declining visits to Seattle due to family obligations. Josh, too, with vague work commitments. My family hadn't just excluded me from Christmas. They had been systematically cutting me out of their lives while continuing to accept my financial support. My financial statements from the past 3 years confirmed it. Nearly $80,000. Online property tax records showed no danger of losing their house. The mortgage payments were consistent. They lied about the fundamental reason you were sending money, Amy stated flatly. That's not just taking advantage, Brittany. That's fraud. The word hung between us. Harsh, but accurate. My own parents had defrauded me. I kept making excuses for why I couldn't visit, I realized aloud. But they never invited me home, Amy. Not once in the last year. Because they didn't want you to see how they were living, Amy concluded. You might have noticed the disconnect. Every discovery, every realization cemented the truth. This was calculated, ongoing exploitation by the people I trusted most. Easter, 4th of July, Labor Day, Thanksgiving, Christmas. 5 major family events in 1 year, all deliberately hidden from me. The worst part was that I genuinely believed I was helping them survive. I cut back on my own expenses, made minimum payments on my student loans, delayed retirement savings, all so they could keep their home in dignity, while they were taking luxury vacations and buying diamond necklaces. Why? I asked again. Why would they do this to me? Some people take advantage wherever they can, Amy said softly, even from those they should protect most. It's not about you, Brittany. It's about who they are. The comeuppance as Christmas Day closed. I sat surrounded by screenshots and financial statements. The pain was evolving, transforming from shock to a deep, resolved understanding of what needed to happen next. Amy, I said finally, my voice steady despite the tear tracks on my face. I need to make some changes. I'm with you, she replied instantly. Whatever you decide, I'm in your corner. As I prepared for bed, my phone chimed. A new message. From my father. The first contact all day. My heart raced. An explanation? An apology? Something to make sense of this inexplicable cruelty? Instead it read, Hope you had a nice Christmas, Princess. Quick question. Can you help with the mortgage payment on Monday? Bit short this month. The usual $2,000 would be great. Thanks in advance. I stared at the message. A cold clarity washed over me. After everything I had seen, after the elaborate celebration they'd hosted while telling me Christmas was canceled, his only communication was another request for money. In that moment, something shifted permanently inside me. The last lingering doubt vanished. I didn't reply. Not yet. First, I needed a plan. I spent the next 3 days in focused determination, ignoring all attempts at communication. Dad's texts escalated. Princess, did you get my message about the mortgage? We're counting on that transfer. Is everything okay? You usually respond right away. Mom texted too. Sweetie, Dad says you haven't confirmed. Is everything all right? We need to pay the mortgage. Even Josh and Katie, who've been silent on Christmas, suddenly found time to check in. Hey sis, hope your Christmas wasn't too lonely. Parents seem worried. Mom's freaking out that you're not responding. Everything okay? I read each message with detached interest. Their concern was entirely focused on the money, not my well-being after spending Christmas alone. Not one mentioned the family gathering. Not one acknowledged the lie. I didn't respond. Instead, I met with a financial advisor. I brought all the documentation. Were these loans or gifts? He asked. Presented as emergency assistance, I explained, but I've discovered they were never in financial distress. He nodded sympathetically. Legally, without written agreements, they're gifts. But we can stop automatic transfers and secure your accounts. We canceled the recurring payments, changed passwords, set up alerts. My money was now safe. Then I video called Amy. I'm ready to respond, I told her. My finances are secured. Now boundaries. Are you sure? She asked gently. I'm ready, I confirmed. If I wait, they'll just find another excuse. The cycle needs to end now. Amy nodded. I'm proud of you, Britt. Remember, this is about protecting yourself. With my resolve strengthened, I finally responded to my father's text on the evening of December 28th. His latest message had been urgent. Brittany, we need to know if the money is coming tomorrow. The mortgage payment is due. My reply was simple but impactful. Ask the family you chose. Within minutes, my phone exploded. Calls from Dad, Mom, Josh. All declined. Texts flooded in. Dad, what do you mean by that? Mom, Brittany, what's wrong? We need that money. Sis, parents are freaking out. Call them. Katie, what did you say to Dad? He's really upset. I remained silent, watching the panic unfold. Their concern was still just about the money. Finally, after an hour of ignored calls, I sent a group message to my immediate family. I attached several of the screenshots, images of the Christmas gathering, the expensive gifts, the family-only invitation. My message read, I saw everything. I know Christmas wasn't canceled. I know it wasn't a quiet day at home. I know everyone was there except me. I've contributed over $80,000 to this family over 3 years, believing you needed help to survive. That ends today. All automatic payments have been canceled. Chaos. My phone rang continuously for the next hour. I turned it to silent. A strange calm settled over me. For the first time in years, I felt in control. When I checked messages before bed, dozens of texts. Defensive, apologetic, manipulative. Mom, you're misunderstanding. We were protecting you from feeling obligated. Dad, huge overreaction, princess. The family depends on you. Josh, nobody meant to hurt your feelings, but cutting off financial support hurts everyone. Think about what you're doing. Katie, surprisingly, was the only one who showed a hint of remorse. I'm really sorry, Brittany. I should have told you. I didn't respond to any of them. Instead, I drafted emails to my landlord and utility companies explaining that payments from my account might be attempted by unauthorized individuals. I couldn't put it past them. The next morning, Mom's voicemail revealed more than she intended. Brittany, you need to stop this tantrum immediately. Her voice was tight with anger, not concern. Your father and I have supported you your entire life, and this is how you repay us. By abandoning your family over a silly Christmas party? We have the mortgage payment, property taxes coming up, and we just put a deposit down on a St. Peter's Eve cruise for February. We can't afford all this without your help. Call me back immediately. A cruise. They had booked a cruise while telling me they couldn't afford Christmas. The final, damning piece of confirmation. Instead of calling her back, I made an appointment with a therapist specializing in family trauma. That afternoon, a call from an unexpected source. My father's sister, Aunt Sandra. She'd always been an outsider herself, often missing from gatherings. Brittany, she said, I heard what happened. Your cousin Jackson told me you saw his Christmas video and that you weren't invited. I want you to know I had no idea they told you Christmas was canceled. Her words held a ring of truth. I've been sending them money for years, Aunt Sandra. I confessed. They told me they were about to lose the house. There was a long pause. Your father didn't lose his job 3 years ago, Brittany. He took early retirement with a pension package. They've never been in danger of losing the house. The revelation hit me like a physical blow. Not just manipulation, but an outright fabrication of the very premise that had led me to provide support. Why would they lie about something so fundamental? I asked, though I already suspected. Your parents have always lived beyond their means, and Sandra explained gently. Your success became their solution. They've been bragging to the family about their clever arrangement with you. Your generosity funding their lifestyle while they maintain control by keeping you at a distance so you can't see how they're using your money. And everyone just went along with this? I asked. Most people didn't know the extent of it, she admitted. I only found out recently when your father got drunk at Thanksgiving and boasted about how they had trained you to send money without question. It made me sick, but I didn't have your contact information to warn you. Her honesty, painful as it was, provided the external validation I desperately needed. This wasn't a misunderstanding or an overreaction. This was deliberate exploitation by my parents, enabled by the silence of family members. Thank you for telling me, I said sincerely. It helps to know I'm not crazy for feeling betrayed. You're not crazy, and Sandra assured me. And you're not alone. I've often been the family outcast myself. If you need someone who understands, I'm here. Her support strengthened my resolve. After our call, I composed a formal email to my parents, copying my siblings. After discovering the extent of the deception regarding family finances and being deliberately excluded from family gatherings while continuing to provide financial support, I am terminating all financial assistance effective immediately. Any future communication should acknowledge the truth of what has occurred rather than continuing the pattern of manipulation. I will be taking time to reassess our relationship and what form it may take going forward, if any. The email was met with a barrage of responses. Mom's outrage. After all we've done for you. Dad's financial threats. You'll regret this when tax season comes. Josh's sudden concern for my mental health. You're not thinking clearly, sis. Maybe you should talk to someone. I forwarded these to my therapist. Her validation helped me stand firm. 1 week after Christmas, Dad sent a text that showed he still hadn't grasped the severity of the situation. Look, we're sorry if your feelings were hurt about Christmas, but we really need the January mortgage payment. Can you put aside this disagreement until we figure things out financially? My response was brief. The mortgage is your responsibility. My bank has been instructed to decline any attempted withdrawals from your accounts. It was the last direct communication I had with my father for months. Reclaiming my life as January began, I felt a strange mixture of grief and liberation. The family I thought I had was gone, revealed to be an illusion. But with that painful truth came freedom from exploitation and the opportunity to rebuild my life on honest foundations. The first month after cutting financial ties was surprisingly peaceful. After the initial flood of calls, radio silence from my parents and brother. Only Katie sent an occasional text, usually just checking if I was still mad. I responded politely but maintained my distance. I'm not mad, Katie, I wrote. I'm protecting myself from further exploitation. There is a difference. As February approached, Aunt Sandra became my unexpected ally, sharing updates. My parents were facing the natural consequences. They missed the January mortgage payment, she told me during one of our weekly calls. Your father's been asking other family members for loans. Are people giving them money? I asked, concerned. No, she said with a hint of satisfaction. Your courage exposed their pattern. Nobody wants to be the next Britney. While I took no pleasure in their struggles, there was a certain justice. For too long, they had lived beyond their means with my unwitting support. Now they had to adjust. In my own life, I started seeing the benefits of reclaiming my finances. For the first time in 3 years, I had an extra $2,000 each month to allocate to my future. I increased retirement contributions, built an emergency fund, and started researching first-time homebuyer programs. It's amazing how much more secure I feel, I told Amy. I hadn't realized how much stress I was carrying. That's because there was always a next crisis, Amy pointed out. By design. She was right. There had always been an urgent need, carefully timed to maximize my obligation and prevent me from questioning. February brought another update from Aunt Sandra. My parents had canceled their cruise, unable to make the final payment. This news came with a screenshot of my mother's social media post, lamenting that they had to cancel due to unexpected family issues. The subtle attempt to blame me might have hurt me months earlier, but now I recognized it for what it was, another manipulation tactic. I let it go. Through weekly therapy sessions, I began to understand the dysfunctional dynamics. I learned about financial abuse, recognizing it applied to my family. I explored my need for approval, my tendency to overfunction. Most importantly, I began to recognize that I deserve relationships based on mutual respect, not exploitation. Your generosity isn't the problem, my therapist assured me. Your boundaries were. But you're fixing that now, and that's tremendous growth. By March, I had established new traditions, new connections. I joined a hiking group, accepted dinner invitations from coworkers, and even started dating again after a 2-year hiatus. I met a kind environmental engineer named David who valued honest communication above all else. I've been so focused on proving my worth through sacrifice, I told him on our 3rd date, having shared a simplified version of my story. I forgot that relationships should add to your life, not drain it. Healthy love multiplies resources, he agreed. It doesn't deplete them. As spring approached, I received the first communication from my family that wasn't centered around money or manipulation. It came from Josh, a handwritten letter that arrived in early April. I've been thinking a lot about Christmas and everything that happened, he wrote. At first, I was angry with you for cutting off Mom and Dad financially, but the more I've watched them scramble and blame everyone but themselves, the more I've realized you might have been right all along. They told us you couldn't come for Christmas because you were too busy and didn't want to be bothered with family stuff. We believed them because it was easier than questioning. I'm sorry for my part in hurting you. He detailed my parents' deteriorating financial situation, downsizing cars, considering selling the house, constant arguing about money. I don't tell you this to make you feel guilty, Josh clarified. You have nothing to feel guilty about. I tell you, so you know that your decision forced some necessary changes. Maybe in time they'll learn from this. Maybe not. Either way, I'd like to have a relationship with my sister again on healthier terms. I cried after reading his letter, not from pain, but from the validation. Then I called him. Our first real conversation in nearly 4 months. I never wanted to hurt anyone, I told him. I just couldn't keep sacrificing myself for people who didn't even want me around. I know that now, he said quietly. And for what it's worth, I did want you around. I just didn't stand up to Mom and Dad. It wasn't complete healing, but it was a start. Katie followed with her own olive branch a few weeks later, a text admitting she had known Christmas wasn't really canceled. I was selfish, she confessed. I went along with it because I didn't want to rock the boat. You deserved better from your little sister. These gestures were meaningful steps, but I maintained firmer boundaries. I agreed to monthly video calls with each of them, separate from our parents. I made it clear I would not discuss my financial situation or entertain requests to support our parents. My relationship with Mom and Dad will develop on its own timeline, if at all, I explained to Katie. I'm not asking you to take sides, but I am asking you to respect my boundaries. As for my parents, their true priorities remain clear. In May, 5 months after the Christmas revelation, Dad sent an email with the subject line, "Possible compromise. Your mother and I are willing to put the Christmas misunderstanding behind us," it read. If you could consider resuming financial support at a reduced level, perhaps $1,000 monthly instead of $2,000. This would be tremendously helpful as we transition to our new budget. In exchange, we promise more transparent communication about family gatherings going forward. No apology, no acknowledgement of deception, purely transactional. I didn't respond. Mom tried a different approach. A Mother's Day card with a lengthy, handwritten note expressing how much she missed her little girl. Again, no genuine acknowledgement of wrongdoing. Just an attempt to minimize the betrayal as a simple miscommunication while appealing to family loyalty. I sent a polite thank you text for the card, but did not engage. The greatest gift by summer, a full 6 months after that devastating Christmas, I had established a new normal that prioritized my well-being. My finances had never been healthier. I put a down payment on a small condo in a neighborhood I loved. My relationship with David deepened into something truly supportive and reciprocal. My friendships, especially with Amy, flourished. Most importantly, I had developed a stronger sense of self-worth that wasn't tied to being needed or being the responsible provider. I learned that true generosity comes from abundance, not obligation, and that healthy relationships involve mutual giving, not one-sided sacrifice. When Christmas approached again the following year, I felt a twinge of sadness for the family relationships I had lost, but no regret for the boundaries I had established. I created new traditions with chosen family, hosting a dinner for friends who couldn't travel home, and volunteering at a local shelter on Christmas morning. The joy I found in these connections was authentic in a way my family relationships had not been for years. I did eventually reconnect with my parents, but on dramatically different terms. After nearly 18 months of limited contact, they reached out with what seemed to be genuine remorse, prompted in part by family therapy they had reluctantly begun at Aunt Sandra's insistence. Our relationship now is cautious but cordial. I visit occasionally, but maintain clear financial boundaries. No loans, no gifts of money, no discussions of their financial challenges. They have adjusted to their actual income level, selling the large family home and adopting a more modest lifestyle. The most valuable lesson from this painful chapter wasn't about money at all. It was about recognizing that family should be defined by mutual care, respect, and honesty, not by DNA or obligation. It was about learning that sometimes the most loving thing you can do for others is to stop enabling harmful patterns, even when that choice brings short-term pain. And it was about discovering that my worth was never tied to what I could provide or sacrifice, but to who I am as a person, worthy of authentic connection. The Christmas that was canceled turned out to be the greatest gift I ever received. Not a celebration of family, but a revelation of truth that allowed me to reclaim my life and rebuild it on foundations of genuine love and respect. Call to action. Have you ever had to create strong boundaries with family members? Or maybe you've experienced a betrayal that forced you to reevaluate everything. I'd love to hear about your experiences and what you would have done in my place. Tell me your stories in the comments below. I really want to know. Remember, setting boundaries isn't selfish. It's an act of self-respect. If this story resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and share with someone who might need to hear this message today. Thank you for listening to my journey. And always remember that sometimes, the family we choose is more important than the family we're born into.